This Thursday, February 12th at 6:40 p.m. So zoning review steering committee, we do not have a quorum today. However, with both John and Ed here, I want to kind of have a discussion, an informal discussion. No votes will be taken, just to kind of check in on remaining questions, concerns with the two articles that were put forward for town meeting, and then just kind of a brief, plan of what I'd like to do for a public forum. So if you guys want to just, I guess, start going over what would be our first article.
So, I was pretty good with everything we discussed the last time anyway, so I didn't have an issue with anything, so. Yeah. And I think you were just gonna get some, maybe, clarity on a few things or something.
It was mostly, I think, for our, just going to the mixed use change, so going away from that whole 3.5 and then going to kind of like I think we're moving it to use specific requirements.
Right there.
Oh, sorry. So this would be residential. This would be under section 5B1(3) G. So.
Oh yeah, I remember that letter.
Yep. So I have it listed as mixed-use development comprised of permissible commercial uses on the ground floor of residential dwelling units, only occupying floors above the ground floor, pursuant to section 5B2B. And then 5B2B, we have 6 requirements. So there was one addition. This came from a discussion with town council. I don't know if we talked about the last time, but just to go over them, so the first one, the non-residential commercial uses shall be located only on the ground floor of the front facade facing the street or other public space, such as public park, plaza, or sidewalk. That's language it took from the MBTA overlay district. It was just basically directing where it can be located. The next one, too, this was, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but this was through discussion with council. The non-residential commercial uses shall only consist of those outlined in section 16(7)(b) of the zoning bylaws. That also refers back to the MBTA overlay district. And what and the reason being for that was, one, it was just easier to reference another section than to list them out. But the mixed use portion of the MBTA zoning district goes over specific commercial uses. So rather than having it be an open-ended in anything that's allowed within a business or central business district, this would be workshop or art studio, bank, business, professional office, medical or dental office, personal service establishment providing specialized goods or services frequently used by consumers, restaurant, bakery, cafe, deli, walk-in, retail sales and services not exceeding 15,000 square feet, small scale grocer or specialty food store with a maximum gross floor area not exceeding 15,000 square feet. So that reason really is just to kind of make it specific, only because in the off chance you have somebody that wants to put a commercial use in a mixed use development, that might be kind of, you don't want something like
something hotter than what we typically think in the downtown.
You're thinking more retail service industry, so that's why just referring to that section gives it a little bit more clarity on what that will be or could be. The one question though about the whole minimum of 30% of the gross floor area of the ground floor must be utilized for commercial use. This commercial use does not include any amenity or leasing space associated with the residential use and may not include parking of any type. So I talked about it with Crawley a little bit in just kind of looking at some of the other developments, trying to find a number that was a minimum. And I think the issue we all have to go back to is that a lot of the developments that kind of have gone in, and you have a sea of commercial that's not utilized. So obviously there's nothing preventing somebody from putting all commercial on that floor. But the stopgap of 30%, I felt comfortable with the number based upon what we see occupied currently. It's not like the number was taken from anywhere else. It's just trying to find a minimum that is practical and keeps the commercial character of the building, but obviously opens up the remaining 70% to be utilized for parking. Only just because I think we want to have usable commercial
Well,
space.
how are we determining how much space can be on the second and third floors?
The second and third floor would be just dictated by your dimensional regulations. So obviously it has to fit within a certain,
So we're saying, because they can have 4 stories, they can put 1 commercial and then 3 floors of residential above it?
what do we have that limited to under CBD? It is, I think, 50 feet, right? 4 stories, 50 feet. So yeah, that would be, that ground floor is your first floor, and then you gotta have 3 stories of residential above it. That would be the cap in terms of height, right?
So do we, the MBTA, did we say 3 floors unless you had commercial on the first floor, you could go 4? Don't we say in the MBTA?
The MBTA, I think we made it a little bit more. 1 second.
Let's see, this is going to be.
So, in the Central Core Sub-District of the MBTA, for a mixed-use development in accordance with section 7 below, the maximum heights shall be 5 stories and 60 feet. That was from the MBTA.
What?
Yeah.
I thought we had, was it 4 stories? 4 stories unless it was mixed use, and then you could add the 5th? Is that what it was?
Yes, yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, theoretically,
I thought it was
yeah.
3 and 4, but it's 4 and 5, right?
Yeah, and we changed the dimensional regulations in the fall. That would basically limit it. I guess this is, mixed uses. Sorry, I guess an MBTA development is different right now. But under our underlying zoning, if someone does not want to pursue the MBTA route, they want to pursue the underlying zoning, it's capped at 4 stories, no more than 50 feet. So, obviously, I think there's benefits to both. There's a.
Well, isn't this just expanding what they're allowed to do? There's just gonna be more and more of them, because now instead of only being limited to 2 floors above, they're gonna have 3 floors above it.
They're not limited to that right now. As if you're thinking of a business district, it's still what the business district dimensional regulations are. I think it's no more than 3 stories or 40 feet. This is section 6. So,
Business, 40 feet, but not more than 3 stories.
yeah, that's
Okay.
still in place. And so, same thing with the central business district. That whole, 5-story, 6 thing, that's only for an MBTA,
Well, central
development.
business, this is the old one.
Yeah, that's the old one. So that's still the same for this.
What's the requirement on the new one then, for 6, for
What?
central business
The
height?
central business now is, based upon the change in the fall, it is no greater than 50 feet or 4 stories. So you can only have a 4-story building, and it can be no larger than 50 feet in the central business district.
Okay,
So
that's still, well,
we didn't limit the stories before, we just had 52 feet.
So just to make it clear though, if it's not mixed use, if it's just a commercial building, they can have commercial space on the upper floors, right?
I mean, in theory, yeah, but
Because
that's
we
always been
said
the
mixed
case.
use,
Yeah.
mixed use, commercial on the first floor.
Correct.
And then it has to be residential on every floor above. But
Well,
if they wanted to
basically,
make
it's
like-
limiting it to, you can't have residential on the first floor.
Right,
That's why that's language
right,
there,
right.
yeah.
But if it's not mixed use, the whole building could be commercial.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing
All
preventing
4
that
floors,
currently,
right.
yeah.
so currently, central business can have 3.5 times total gross floor area.
Well, that's the one. we
Commercial.
really want
That's
to
why
get
we-
rid of.
yeah.
We wanna make it better, but this is basically, 3.5 times, that's actually restricting it less, gross floor area, so they have to have 30% of it commercial use, whatever.
So we go back to, so not to jump ahead, but condition 6 of this is where the density is regulated. And so rather than doing the whole, breakdown of, either 3.5 times the gross floor area, of the commercial space is just based upon the size of the lot. So in the central business district, it's just 45 dwelling units per acre. So, I don't know what that breaks down to.
Is that just with the MBTA? Are we gonna?
So that number comes from the MBTA.
And we're saying.
But what we're talking about now.
Like you referred to that in this, okay.
Yeah, so I took those numbers because
So
we
it's
just.
gonna be the same thing, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
in the business district, I went with the lower density number that we did within MBTA, which is 20 dwelling units an acre.
Okay,
So, I
so
mean-
it's 45 dwelling units per acre, okay, that'd be 40,000.
That's the maximum, right?
That's the maximum.
Yeah, okay, so,
And the minimum was 20, was it?
This is, it's 45 dwelling units an acre is the, for the central business district, 20 is business. So
okay,
that's the
three
maximum for
floors
both,
are
I guess.
15 per floor. What would the one bedroom apartment go for, size wise? 500 square feet, or
What are you trying to figure out?
how big an area that, the 45 dwelling units per acre, how big an area that actually would allow it? How big the units would allow the units to be?
I mean, it's really not.
It would vary.
business. Yeah, it varies.
Yeah.
Depends if they had one bedrooms, 2 or 3 bedrooms in it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, well,
Basically
what could they do for lot coverage?
So lot coverage,
Well, central business.
we kept it the same, right? That's,
You can always do 100% and,
yeah,
right?
Pretty much, just like 90.
yeah, 90% by structures, 100% by, all impervious, which,
So if you had a full acre, you'd have 40,000 square feet on each floor. If you
Yeah, but
really
then
took
you-
up the full acre, right?
if you had a full acre in the downtown and you
Well,
were
I know,
big,
but
big,
if
big
you bought up a
apartments,
block, right?
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm thinking of the ones that got put in, I would say those are 4 floors of,
Which one are you thinking of?
some of the big ones down here.
Yeah, no, those those are greater in density than what this
What's
is.
allowed.
Yeah, we went through that at the MBTA, right? We talked about basically like Union West and Liberty Station, those are, I think so Liberty Station
Okay,
is
so 40.
152, Union West is 192, and that's like on
36,000. Right.
2 acres, I wanna say.
15.
About 96 units an acre.
It's like
So-
4,400
So,
square foot dwelling.
if you had a bigger building,
Those are some good sized units then.
Yeah, but if that's if
Well,
people wanna build that.
Yeah.
you would have to,
Yeah.
you'd have to work out the square footage no matter what size the building is.
You
but-
obviously have
Whatever,
some
whatever,
utilities and things. and
Right.
everything.
What was that?
well, if you had a 40,000 square foot building, you could have 40,000 square foot in each floor for residential, right?
Well, yeah,
If you
but
wanted
it's
to
actually only
do that.
90%. So you
Huh?
have 36,000.
If you wanted to do that, I mean, most things that get built in the downtown, especially if it's gonna be mixed use, it's gonna be apartments. You know,
Probably 1 bedroom, 2.
One bedroom, too, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna go with a 3 bedroom for a family downtown like
Yeah.
that, you know?
Well, if you assumed each floor was the full amount of like 36,000, and you had 15 units per floor, that's still a 2,400 square foot unit.
That's massive.
Massive.
No one builds that. I mean, a 2,400 square foot apartment is nuts. So I don't think that's what I think by capping the dwelling units per acre, you basically provide what the worst case scenario would be. If you want,
Right,
if
they
you want to
can't
use that
squeeze in
term.
even more than
But
that.
the penthouse is on the top floor, you know, so.
That's true. But mostly, like, I think of it as you have you gotta fit the box within the parameters of the dimensional regulations, and now we've capped the density. So we don't have, a big commercial footprint, so you can, basically get as many units as you can with having an excessive commercial footprint. We basically say, the commercial footprint has to be no less than 30% of the ground floor.
So I would
And then
say
anything in terms of residential is dictated by the size of the lot. So if it's 45 dwelling units an acre and we're on a 10,000 square foot lot, what was that? That's,
that drops a lot, yeah.
yeah. And you gotta think about that too within the
800.
downtown.
Yeah,
What is it?
that would be like 800 square foot
Oh.
units.
Yeah, but I mean,
If
in
you-
terms
if
of
you only-
number of units,
If you only
that's,
had 10,000, yeah. You'd, oh, no, I'm sorry, 10,000, you'd have a quarter of it. So it'd be 600. When we're saying a minimum of 30% of the ground floor area must be utilized for
Mhm.
commercial, are we saying that they have to actually have it?
you can't force
Fill
anyone,
it, they could-
but you have to,
They have, we're saying they have to set aside 30%?
yes. And it cannot be utilized for like tenant, amenity space, that's why I
Yeah.
put that space there, so someone putting like, hey, it's the gym for the tenants, it's the.
Well, they
these-
could have laundry and storage spaces down there like.
True.
Cubbies.
They can include that as additional too, but that doesn't
But
count.
that's
as your-
not commercial, right, yeah. So that, they still have to set aside the 30% for commercial,
True.
percent, yeah.
If you had, 4 floors in the top 3 and a 40,000 square foot building, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have the 40,000 times 3,
Mhm.
then you divide that by 45, right? Cause that,
Yeah,
Right, you'd have 15 per floor.
you'd have 2,600, almost 2,700 square foot.
it's bigger than my house.
Yeah, but
Well, actually,
They
it wouldn't be
can't-
that big, cause you
they
need the
can't cover the
hallways.
full 40,000.
True.
Huh?
They can only have 90% lot.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
So they can only.
In downtown though?
What was
Yeah,
that?
90% downtown?
90%, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
there-
mean, this is to
There
get
is
the
a
drift of
restriction.
it.
It's getting the idea that, you
Yeah.
know, that's not typical development within a downtown transit location.
Oh, I'm telling you, right.
If you had a building that
It is
big,
a
it's not
restriction.
worth putting.
No, by structures.
The top
right,
floor on,
yeah.
cause you really can't.
Likely not. I mean,
You know, if you have 1 or 2 bedrooms, you're not gonna wanna go this big with it, so.
no, you
No.
you have small lots to
That's,
begin
that's
with.
what I have to worry out.
Yeah. I think more often than not, like we looked at this when we did the MBTA, and having the number capped at a dwelling units per acre at least provides you an idea of what could be
Yeah.
built there.
Yeah.
So, like Toll Brothers, right? So that project is split zoned
Yeah.
between high density and low density. The 67 units is obviously that's the style.
They
of
got a
it.
mix, yeah.
They got a mix, but in the worst case scenario, I think the build out for that whole area was like 120 units or something. So it's much less than what the approximate build out is because they chose their certain style of development. I mean,
So it seems odd, but it.
So how much acreage do they have over there?
4.2,
4.2.
yeah.
So they're
So-
running a street in, and
so
one side
is
of the
it-
street's a little less dense, and one side of the street is more dense.
Yeah. So what was the thing they were talking about having, they didn't want an entrance off of, Main Street?
For that
They-
project?
They have,
They
the way they
have-
have it designed, I think it's only exit only
Yep.
on Main Street, yeah.
So it's just an exit, so you can.
Exit only onto Main Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in and out.
To go both ways or just right,
So you can only go right,
north? right?
yeah, towards Norwood. So that's the way, at least it's how it's designed.
Yeah, if you wanna go to the light, you come over on East Street.
Yep.
So,
You
but-
have an option, I guess.
I don't understand why you couldn't enter it if you're going north, only from north.
I think that was just to
The
make sure
street
someone
is
wanted to
gonna-
cross traffic and try to limit.
They have the street
Well,
listed
let me tell
straight
you,
in there.
Norwood did that. They did
Oh.
it at Home Depot, at
Stop.
Wendy's. It's a bunch of BS. It really is.
Yeah.
Cause it creates traffic. People are driving around, they're breaking the law,
Well, that
you know.
Wendy's up on what?
So the Wendy's, you
that's
can't
crazy.
take a
You can't
right.
get in and out of that.
Yeah.
You can't take a right onto Sumner Street, on the back
Or
way.
you can't, yeah.
In
there's
Home
one way into
Depot,
the shop
you
and
can't
to the
go up
gas
Moore
place,
Street, you
but-
have to,
Yeah.
I mean, Sumner Street, you can't go up that way, you have to take a right. And there's a few other places that, I think even, Avalon, out the backside of Avalon onto Plimpton. You can't, I don't think you can take a left on that.
Haven't been there in a
Whereabouts?
while. I don't know what you're talking about, right? It's Lennox,
So
right?
Avalon, where the Plimpton Press was
Yeah.
down there, the apartments behind Shaw's. I
Oh,
don't know if you
Shep-
remember, but
Shep-
if you went down Lennox Street before, Lennox Street,
Oh, those are
you had to go
behind-
around the buildings to go out,
Yeah.
right, to get through.
Yeah, ours
Now they
thought
got
there should be
roads that
some
go
way to
straight
drive
through,
that, but I-
And it's open to the public.
Yeah.
But when you come out onto Plimpton Street, you can only take a right there.
uh,
But no one has done that, but it creates havoc other places.
Yeah.
You know, I think McDonald's wanted to have an entrance from the Walpole Mall into their lot there, and Norwood said no. because they didn't want the traffic coming through, I don't know what it
Yeah.
was.
Well, I think I mean, you had great points, especially with the Stop and Shop Plaza, because Stop and Shop, the Home Depot Plaza, 'cause
Yeah.
that's always like bizarre and a pain.
Oh, yeah.
But I would say, I mean, I know we're kind of off topic. I don't disagree, but I also think residential, you have less traffic traditionally than having a plaza like that, so you have more likely people would get used to the traffic pattern as opposed to somebody who's trying to get to Home Depot and doesn't.
You know, I mean,
But I agree.
look at Windsor Garden, I know there's a lot of trained people there, right?
Yep.
But the traffic really isn't that bad,
No?
considering there's 980 units in there or something like
I
that.
don't go down that way too often, but I
Huh?
don't usually see much traffic.
No,
No.
it's not, and you know, it's never as bad as everybody thinks it is, you
Yeah.
know? But, so what do they do when they come out of Home Depot, they have to go right? So what do? They go into the Bertucci's parking lot and they make a U-turn and they come out, so they're creating more havoc. Or you
Oh,
have to
that.
go down, to Union Street and come around that way, so you have all that extra
No,
traffic.
You
It's-
just wait
it's
until there's no
crap.
one coming
Yeah.
and you take a left anyways.
That's
Yeah.
that's definitely a result of neighborhood pressure on those two projects. I mean, I was there when the Wendy's went in, and that
Yeah.
was
Don't
the
drive
craziest
by.
meetings I've ever seen for a fast food restaurant.
Real quick, you see what they did to John Shelby? They turned him down. He wanted to put 96 units where Norman Tire was right
Yeah.
there. And he really was short on the parking. So to do the parking, he got the lifts.
Yeah.
And the planning board turned it down on
I heard
a
about
1-4 vote.
Yeah.
And both the building inspector and town council told him those are accepted means of parking
Yeah.
by the state. And they suggested that you pass it, and they didn't pass it.
Yeah.
And Ernie Petchorowski there was the only one that voted against it. And he said, you know, you're going down the wrong street with this.
Yeah.
When the building inspector and the town council give us their interpretation,
Yeah.
you know, so. and
I heard about that one. I think that was, you know, if it's not within the bylaw, so I know like Norwood, we're really off topic, but anyway, Norwood, I know they had like a thing where they didn't allow for structured parking in the downtown. I don't know if that's still there, like parking garages, but they called it out specifically in the bylaw. And no one thought of car lifts, so it's not in the bylaw, so one of those things where it's like.
And so, I think there was a word in there, stacking.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And one of the members thought stacking was like back to back, you know, nose to tail type thing.
Tandem.
And not on top,
Yeah.
you know.
So they're talking about that back-to-back, the one down here.
Are they?
Yeah,
Others, yeah.
that's tandem parking,
Tandem.
Tandem. which I don't know.
Me neither.
No.
If they're willing to put up with it, I don't think it's that big.
It's I mean, if you're gonna, they're ownership units, so it's a little bit different than an apartment complex, so it's kinda like, all right, if you're gonna be.
Which one's the ownership, Toll?
Toll Brothers.
Yeah.
So you kinda know what you're buying into.
So what are they gonna do, have like a one-car garage and then the other spot behind it?
Yep.
Well, no, it's gonna be a two-car garage, but.
Oh, is
Oh,
it?
yeah,
They
yeah.
got them both inside,
Both
but there's
inside.
one directly behind the other.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because the one next to it's for the other unit.
Yeah.
I think the one's Chapel Court across from me, the old American Legion.
Oh, okay.
Have they stacked the garage? I don't know.
So where's this again? Sorry.
Chapel Court, right off of Chapel Street, it goes up, and the American Legion was right there.
Okay.
And they turned it into condos.
You talking about Norwood now?
Yeah, right across,
Yeah.
Savin Ave,
Yeah.
Savin
Oh,
Ave, across
yeah.
the street,
Yep.
and they go up, it's a little L shape.
Yeah. I don't know though. I think it's before my time. But I know what you're talking about. No. But in general though, going back to this, so like this is the one thing where I think I've told most people that ask where I'm like, I can see this one being controversial only for the sheer fact of we're touching it, and I know that's been something that's been brought to my attention about, you know, we gotta find a solution for this section of zoning. Overall though, I'm comfortable with it only because what was there existing, I think, was far too open-ended.
Yeah.
In terms of what could be built there, in terms of the size, at the very least, you know,
We
density.
spelled out a little more what can and can't.
Yeah, and the density
A little
is
more restrictive, right?
a little more restrictive and a little
I
bit
still
more.
wish we could say, okay, you wanna use this, you find new tenants on the commercial,
I
and
know.
then come back.
That's the one where it's,
We
it's,
can't do
you
it.
can't,
But that,
The only thing that makes those taller buildings not so bad is the elevation, the ground elevation is
Yeah.
lower. So they're almost 2 stories below
yeah,
the town,
The big
you
one.
know, the center
Yeah.
of town.
yep,
So.
you're right, that's the only thing that's really.
So
that
that's,
way.
otherwise there'd be these monstrosity
Yeah.
things, so.
Still, if you're coming up from Medfield up beside them, see how big they are.
yeah, no, I understand. So, any more questions on that one? I don't wanna move this along, but basically, you know, most of this, I think I don't know if I gave it to you guys already, but I did do a memo, and I'll flesh that out a little bit more for town meeting, where I go line by line on this, explaining what the change is. So I'm trying to be as obviously, you know, with doing a remove and replace, I want to be as transparent obviously as possible. So I do have that information, and I'll make sure that's obviously within the packets, and then I'll, you know, probably fleshed out even more so when I do a forum. In addition to that, you know, I don't know if anyone had any issues with any of the definitions, anything like that. Most of that was just trying to kind of obviously
Yeah,
summarize.
there were
and
things
update.
that weren't there, changing of names or something.
Yeah. The one that is, I mean, this is kind of, I won't say small potatoes, but definitely something that was brought to my attention was I broke down, and this is in the commercial section, automobile service station, automobile garage facility, and auto body facility.
What number was it?
This is 4, so for table 5B1 for commercial.
Okay.
And this is down
EWXY.
WXY. So those definitions existed already in our bylaws. And I've always had, I mean, this is, you know, certainly anyone can have their own opinion on this, but a garage has needed to get a special permit. Whereas, you know, you could argue a garage in the industrial district or in the highway business district is probably a use that fits that location, so why are they making them go through a different hurdle? And so that's where that automobile repair garage comes out from. So an automobile service station is a gas station, repair garage, that's basic mechanic, and then an auto body facility, we kept that obviously as a special permit. That's the language that goes for now, but the auto body facility, that's paint, that's more fabrication,
Right,
yeah.
Right, so the service station, but they can do repairs there, right?
And we're a service station.
Right, but they're not doing auto, how's the definition of auto body?
The auto body, let's go to definitions really quick. So I'll read this. An automobile, so a service station, a full service gasoline station or service station with self-serve gasoline pumps where no major repairs are provided and where all lubrication, minor repairs, and retail services sales are conducted inside the building. An automobile repair garage, though, is an establishment in which the principal use is the repair of motor vehicles, including maintenance, servicing, and upholstery. And then an auto body
So the
facility.
service station can only do like oil changes, grease
something.
jobs?
Yeah.
And anything, tires?
Yeah, minor repairs, so if that classifies as, either way though, an auto body service station and auto body garage are both uses that are allowed under this as by right within the higher business, limited manufacturing, and industrial. Only a repair garage could be allowed in business or CBD, but it needs a special permit. But, you know, an auto body facility, which is what everything's been kind of falling under, right now, has just been, an establishment for metal crafting, auto body repair, auto body painting, paint spraying, interior customization of cars, trucks, and all other motor vehicles. I think that's because that one is more intensive, left that as is. But
It's probably gonna be noisier.
Yeah.
Anything is gonna generate a lot of odor.
Yeah. But we've had a lot of
You're gonna have ventilation, that's gonna be louder probably.
Yeah.
Filters,
And, I mean, I'm fine leaving that one with a special permit as is, but I think I wanted to take the repair garage out, because I think that's a use that, in the districts where it's
Yeah,
allowed.
you want it to be allowed somewhere
Yeah.
so that people
Yeah.
do the work in the cars.
You wanna take it out? of-
No, so let me just go back to section 5 and how this is currently worded. They've lumped them all in, so by separating them to
Oh,
3,
okay.
I'm giving some separation for that. So I think they have it under auto body repair establishment. They only have that under, that's the only use that's listed in our existing business section of the table of use. They don't
So we don't
have.
have a definition.
We
All they have
had,
is service station.
but we had the definition for all 3 of them, but we didn't list them all 3. So
Oh,
when
okay.
someone wanted to just do a repair garage, they had to
Oh,
apply
okay.
under
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
So they needed a special permit just to do
Okay.
repairs.
Yeah, that's what it is,
Yeah, that's, and I know adding like a contractor's yard for like landscaping, that was something that Jim wanted, cause that seems to be a use that we have frequently, that doesn't fall under anything. So obviously included that in the use section and included that definition. And then the big one really is manufacturing, so under the proposal, we're removing quite a lot.
yeah. Wholesale industrial you're talking about?
Yeah, this is, wholesale industrial. So there's obviously an existing, there existing is, there's a lot and it's fairly detailed. But all those uses that are listed, primarily it is, it'd be 5B15, I wanna say N through U, or not U, N through T. These are all uses that are all allowed by right within highway, business, LM, and industrial. So it's not like one's a special permit and you wanna call it out, they're all currently allowed by right. So finding a way to summarize it and just list it as manufacturing, or limited manufacturing, and then having a new definition that kind of extends to that, it just removes the excess amount of,
Yeah.
verbiage.
So how did you combine N through T current?
So so we have I have it listed now is, manufacturing. Ooh, hold on. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J,
You got
K,
2
L.
L's, yeah.
Yeah, it has to be changed as an M, so that's a Scrivener's, so. So I'm making a note of that. Of course, have to see that now, so won't have to go through this again. Anything like that, if you guys find any like sort of Scrivener's like that, those sections, please let me know. But for definitions, though, John, our existing definition for manufacturing was heavy or light industry manufacturing or assembly of a product, including processing, fabrication, assembly, treatment, packaging, and all that accessory uses. Okay, but kind of, limited. The definition I kind of took from Norwood and Westwood and a few other towns that must have had the same lawyer. But this is the use engaged in the basic processing, manufacturing of materials, so the manufacture from previous packaged materials or finished products or parts, including processing, fabrication, assembly, treatment, packaging, incidental storage, sales and distribution of products, but excluding the following, and then we list the things that are excluding. So acid manufacture, bituminous concrete or asphalt manufacture, lime, gypsum or plaster or Paris manufacture, production of chlorine, similar noxious gases, distillation of bones. I won't go through all of it, but basically that language, I obviously did not come with that off the top of my head. I just kind of looked at surrounding communities and it seems that most had a similar definition for manufacturing. And that's kind of where I just switched them out.
What about medical or biotech type things?
So I believe if I added that or if we already have something existing.
I'm just wondering if they could try to throw it in the,
Oh, that fits under there?
by not spelling out or something.
So we do have biotechnology facility, at least that's how they're listed, as a research experimental testing laboratory for the application of scientific study of biological and life processes for medical instruction or commercial purposes. So that's an existing definition we have.
what does it fall under?
So it would fall under research and development. Oh, sorry, I have research and development under K. Oh, but I added a definition for research and development, sorry.
Yeah.
So research and development is the use engaged in the field of technology, medical, pharmaceutical, physical, environmental, biological, or behavioral sciences, including the production of equipment, apparatus, machines, or other devices for research, development, manufacturing, advanced and practical application in any field or area, and including office, administrative, laboratory, manufacturing, and support spaces and facilities.
So where is that?
Sorry, so
K.
that's
Where is that in the,
That's K.
Under
I don't
K,
know,
under
maybe
industrial.
It's K of the new.
Yep, yeah, so it's K of the new one, but under the old one, I think we had similar, I think I just, research and development is the term that you hear more frequently, which is why I made the change.
M, is it M on the old one? Research, experimental, or testing laboratory other than as an accessory to a permitted use.
Yeah, so M, research and experimental testing, I think, other than as an accessory.
Okay. Now,
I believe I kept everything the same.
something like that's still going to have to get permits from what, Board of Health, is that right?
Oh, yeah. So research and development we have is as special permit within CBD, and this is, so existing, that use is special permit in CBD and special permit in LM. For the change, I have a special permit within CBD, but LM, I moved that to
Wow.
by right. I think we talked about this at a previous meeting, I don't think I would have just
Is
done
this
that.
something we really want in simple business? from the facility?
It was there existing, which is why
I
I
know,
left
it's
it.
kind of a, if we're looking at it,
I think the thought is like a place like 100 Elm Street, the Kendall Building. It's kind of a large
oh,
facility right there where it's,
true.
you could do like a startup or something like that, which does, you know.
Just, my fear, I suppose, is something like a bio lab in downtown area,
Yeah.
because it's simple business. But if we have some, other guards in place to prevent something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that probably would dictate something like this that's beyond
Remembering
zoning.
when we did something with, what's this place up at Coney Street?
Oh, Siemens?
Siemens.
Yeah.
Because we had issues because they had some high-level testing labs.
Yeah.
And I wanted, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that location's probably more ideal for a certain use
Yeah,
like this.
it's away from things,
you know,
yeah.
I think when we
Not very
look,
little.
I think when we looked at it, we just, for whatever reason, we kept it there under CBD as a special permit. But it's not like we have a lot of that going on right now anyway. I don't think anyone's actually used it, but I think
True.
I really think the
But
thought of it was probably trying to offer some additional use within the Kendall building. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna do
Yeah.
a research and development underneath, you know, Liberty Station. Like that'd be- So that, like, that mistake we found with the whole, I think I had L twice under industrial, so
Yeah.
it was 5E.
So limited is L and manufacturing would be.
So
yeah.
I'll definitely go through this again to make sure I don't skip a letter or any double letters.
Is there a moratorium on vape shops for a while and now that's passed, is that how it is?
I don't know, was what,
I thought at one point all the vape shops kind of got shut down in town. And then, I seem to see people going into them again. And you see some of the stuff in like,
Yeah. Do we keep
gas
vape shops?
stations too.
Where do we have that under?
You have it on the commercial D, and it's
Yeah.
allowed only by special permit
And then industrial. So I don't think we actually have any of these.
There's one down by the CVS, is there, right now?
Huh. I mean, this is just carrying it over from the old one, but I think you're right, there's something there. I'm not sure.
And I know they had one up on, near the Dunkin' Donuts on Route 1 at the end
Yeah.
of,
This predates me, but I know a lot of towns have this. Was this something similar you guys had to just add this in at one point? I don't know. You remember that when this came in?
I think you see.
Might have been recent or
You
someone.
see some stuff like this,
Yeah.
like a couple of farms and stuff too. They're
Yeah.
carrying stuff like that nature, I think.
Huh.
Is that something that someone should be reviewing?
Enforcing? Well, I know
I don't
like
know.
when they do, like if someone wants to sell tobacco or something like that, I think they have to go to Board of Health.
Yeah, I think
Correct,
they
I
need
think
a,
it's
they
I
need a
thought
permit.
the zoning prohibited it. We have two in town now, right?
For vape shops?
Yeah, one at CVS, or near
I
there.
think so, I think
you're
there's
right.
one.
And then the one up, near the Dunkin' Donuts, near
Is that a
Jersey
vape shop
Mike's.
though, or is that a?
Yeah, up that way.
Is that just a 7-Eleven?
No, there's on the corner, there's a smoke shop, a vape. or
Yeah,
whatever
that's,
it
it's
is.
Huh.
on the very corner of that.
Right on the corner of the
Yeah.
building there.
Do you know when that went in? Because that could have been something that they didn't have a regulation for.
I think it was before, the same with the one that was
Yeah.
up,
Might have,
Yeah,
yeah. I
the
think
Common
that
Street
both
up there.
place, but-
That makes
right,
sense.
isn't it the building with Jersey Mike's?
I think it's
in
that
it?
building, yeah.
So
I've
this
never
was
been
like,
there, so-
it's like medical, well, different than medical marijuana because you had to take a vote on it, but I imagine these start popping up and then that's why
Well, they're not
towns.
selling marijuana at those places.
No, but I mean like all towns seem to have something for vape shops.
Yeah.
Because they probably became popular and started
Yeah.
showing up, people wanting to
And
regulate.
people say, oh, you're killing the kids.
Yeah,
Kids are going, you know, okay.
But I think those
This is
are-
not all kids, something that are killing.
those are
the
probably
kids.
pre-existing non-conforming then, I guess, they came in.
I think they are.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else on this? I don't wanna just
Mhm.
go through, but if you guys have any particular things.
I think
No.
we'll take it, I don't think,
So obviously there's a few sections in here we have to change references. But-
no.
How are these solar parking canopies working out?
I like that
Huh?
in terms of they,
Well, I mean, are they worth the effort?
I don't know, I mean, they certainly were, there certainly was a rush at first for a lot of people to get them. And I think a lot of places that have, you know, excessive parking see that as a way of kind of generating income as well. It's kind of passive income if you can go through the
Yeah.
process and
I'm
selling
not
it.
using the roof for anything else, I can put solar panels on it, I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
it's-
panels on the roof already, you could, but I think.
As long as the flat panels, all they're doing is similar to the house, you're just getting some.
And since I've been here, I know they did, the Aggie, which I think was around the time I first came in, and I know by Robbins Road, the old Johnson.
Yeah.
But had a call maybe once from one of the hotels on Route 1 that was looking to do that, but obviously they informed
I
us.
mean, did they get enough electricity out of it? I mean, like the one at the junior high, where does that power go? To the town?
Yeah.
That I don't know. I mean, so
I'm
it
curious.
must get fed back into the grid, I would think, and then they must.
Yeah,
Who
but
gets
who's
credit for it? Yeah.
benefiting from it?
Probably us in terms of.
Well, it's town property, so it would
Yeah.
either be us, either be the town
Yeah,
or
it's definitely.
the
I don't
school
think-
over there. The school didn't do it, right?
No,
That consortium
town
did
did
it.
that, so it's town
It's gotta
property.
be the town, right?
I mean, it saves on energy costs, that's one thing, I think that's, if they do utilize it, like you would use a lot, so if they use it the same way that you'd use for like your home, then
Yeah.
in theory, alright, well, you're saving costs on energy because you're paying for the panels and you're not paying for the
Yeah.
additional energy costs. But I don't know if it works the same way, it must be some sort of income generator as well, but I really don't know it.
think these wind turbines, I was up in Boston this past weekend, and there's it was enough breeze up there to make them turn, but
Yeah.
they weren't moving, and then when we drove by them closer to them, they look all rusted. So it's like, you know.
Have you ever, I mean, this is, one time we went to San Francisco or like Northern California, and we were flying in, and like, there was like thousands or something.
Well,
It was
right.
like the wind turbines, like they were really big out there.
When we were out in Desert Springs.
Yeah.
And we went up, there's like a state park up on top of a mountain there.
Yeah.
And took the gondola up, and you go out, and there was so many of them out there, thousands, like you
Yeah.
said, right? And it reminded me of the graveyards over
Yeah.
in France.
Yeah.
The way they were all lined like this in the straight
Oh,
line.
that's
It was
wild.
unbelievable, you know? I wonder how they're all working, because I was probably close to 20 years ago, I was out there, and I saw them, you know, 15. 20.
Definitely not an expert in understanding how much is generated, but I mean, I would imagine panels probably get a little bit more, I don't know.
Well, I mentioned it to my son, how they were.
So it depends what materials are being made of.
Yeah.
So those wind turbine fires with a stronger material that got a lot more force going into
True.
it to make you turn, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we went by the one down in Falmouth,
Yeah.
Bourne. I think it was at Plymouth, right in, I don't know, it's right in the section of 495, but
Okay.
the day one of the props fell off into the swamp, into the cranberry bog, you know.
Jeez.
So, and then I saw those stopped at there, and my son was over the house the other day, and he mentioned it to me, he says, yeah, he goes, those things aren't good, and he thinks they're a problem with the whales, why the whales are having some issues
Yeah.
because of the vibration,
Oh.
and it's sending
Okay.
these signals, and they, you know, how they kinda talk, and
Yeah.
and so it's messing them up, and
Why
I
are
guess a
showing
lot
it
of
in
these,
those
there's a lot of
places?
dead birds.
Is there a reason? So they must put them on the coast because that's where a lot of the strong winds are on the
Yeah.
side,
I'm
right?
assuming that, yeah.
I feel like that'd be like a use that works, I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like that'd be better like in the middle of the country where there's not a lot going on.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
You need the wind.
I was up in Vermont last fall, and
Yeah.
one of the mountain ranges, it was, must have been 20 or 30 of them.
Really?
I think,
Yeah.
right across the top of the mountain, like,
That must have been hard to put up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Must have been hard to put in.
yeah,
Jeez.
there's a lot of issues, I mean,
You're trying to
and
put them on a
and they
naval.
say it's hazardous materials, so where do you get
Yeah.
rid of it afterwards, and they only have about maybe a 20-year lifespan, if that.
Oh,
you know.
really? Jeez.
And I heard that, I think it was the town of Hull, that somebody came in years ago for a approval of one,
Mhm.
and the town says, yeah, we can give you the approval, but how about if you build us one?
Huh.
Well, I guess it's been shut down for a while now because they can't afford the maintenance on it.
Wow. Yeah,
So it's,
that's
they're
where, I
high
mean, like,
maintenance,
it's
so.
very naive in terms of how they actually work, but just someone that, I mean, the panels, I feel like there's a lot more of that
Yeah.
on like the residential side, so the industry must be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there must be an awful
Easy.
lot of wind needed to turn these big blades.
Yeah.
But they've had windmills for hundreds of years, so obviously it can generate power.
Or make flour.
Yep, flour, grindstone.
Well, we don't have to worry about that, cause that's not in our zone, just. So yeah, I mean, anything else on this,
I
if you
wanna
guys see?
build a wind turbine on, what's the big lake up in North Walton? The one that's part of Norway, whatever.
New Pond?
No. The one off North Street. It's a big lake. Well, not lake or pond, what do you call it?
And what?
Yeah. The one that all the fancy houses back up onto.
Who's this?
Is it
Off of
Pond?
North Street and off of Fisher Street.
Pond and North Street.
Maybe Willow Pond.
I drive it every day.
Well,
and
well,
On North Street, we don't be Willett, right?
well, it's the one that's like half in Walpole, half in Norwood, I think. maybe.
Willett,
Well,
Huh?
Willett Pond, yeah.
Big,
Well,
it's good
the big
size.
one.
It's
Huh?
New Pond.
It's big, yeah.
It's New Pond?
Yeah, it's, well,
No.
but New Pond.
No.
They
How
always
new is
call
it?
New Pond.
No.
Where St. Timothy's is on the other side?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Newport.
no, maybe they call it different.
Well, it's Willett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call it Willett.
But I wanna build one in there.
Powers the tannery, right? It goes from that to like another little pond to the other
Yeah,
little pond.
yeah, yeah. So the waterfall,
I wanna build a wind turbine in there.
Maybe not much wind.
There's no wind there probably, so yeah.
No. So, yeah, anything with this though, I mean, I know we can go through it each time, but if it works better just to go through and if you have like, hey, this is something that needs to be corrected or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might work better just to get me to email that to me or
Yeah.
anything like that, and I can kind of note that.
You added
Yeah.
more details on the.
Yep. As for the other section, though, the other article, I think primarily, this is really just the excavation or filling of earth bylaw. I mean, there's you make changes to,
You
closures
pretty
of
much
uses,
got rid
temporary.
of everything for enclosure of use, so,
Yeah, I mean, closures of use, that was kind of just a way to, you could either remove it or try to kind of summarize it down of how.
yeah, summarize it to such a defense that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. And then obviously for, some changes to temporary uses, and then getting out the stadium parking overlay and making it its own section.
Oh, so it's,
So this was the recommendation because it's an overlay district, and so we
Yeah.
have other overlays, we have them as, called
That-
as their
yeah,
own
okay,
section,
yeah.
so town council recommended. Instead of lumping it in with use regulations, moving it out to its own.
so the state did approve MBTA zone, didn't they?
Ours?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we
That's what I thought,
got
but-
Toll Brothers going on.
Well, I know, but I mean, they never,
Oh, they never.
it was never like announced that, cause they know we had to submit it and I didn't think it was announced, but I
Oh.
thought it was.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. No, I mean, it was,
Yeah.
we got approved, but it was one of those things where they were just, they put forward 30 towns initially, and we were lumped in, which is cool, but I think that was kind of like a thing with the state wanting to say like, look at these towns, they've done it, and then it took forever for the other towns, cause it was, I don't know what's going on.
Scrutiny,
Some of the towns
They
still
were
finding it?
scrutinizing a lot of things, but it was taking so long that I think they kinda had to change their process. Cause I know Norwood also submitted the same time as Walpole, and they it was like almost like 6 months later, it took forever for them to find
Really?
out.
So,
no, some of the towns still fighting that?
I don't know.
there was about 20 or more towns, I think, as I,
Didn't
No.
the state
it
do
was a
something?
month, over a month ago, maybe 2
Yeah.
months ago, I read something that the Attorney General was still after these towns and
Yeah.
talking about cutting funds off to them.
Yeah, I thought I heard something like that.
Yeah, I know,
But I forget how many towns was in there, so.
I know, what's it called? Milton. I think they passed theirs recently.
Yeah, they,
They were the
But
first
Needham-
ones to
Yeah.
go against it.
Oh, yeah.
Needham pulled theirs back, they approved it.
Yep.
But they went way above and beyond.
Oh, they had to scale it back.
Right, they did, they went greater than what they were required to do. And then the residents,
What do you do?
they had a petition.
Yeah.
They had a petition, I think they brought it back, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But they wanted to downsize it to be barely conforming,
Meet the bare minimum.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
I mean,
So, I mean, how did the MBTA zoning work out with Toll Brothers? I mean, did it seem to, their plan, I haven't seen it.
so yeah, I mean, their plan is, truthfully, it's a little different than what we anticipated, because I think when you're thinking multifamily housing, you're thinking, okay, you're thinking of an apartment building, so,
Yeah.
it's obviously
Kind of
similar to
townhouse style.
townhouse style, which is a different form of
Right.
housing,
Yeah.
in ownership.
The higher,
But it's popular, yeah, because they're not in the rental business.
They're not in the rental
They
the
business.
want
higher
to
density
build it and
ones
sell it, get
are
out.
like,
Yeah.
we got garages and entryways on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And then like there's 3 floors of residential above it, and there's like unit 1 and unit 1.5, and unit 2.5 and unit 2.
It's stacked.
on top.
It's
So
so,
they're all 2-floor units, but like the middle floor is shared by
Oh.
the
Yeah.
2.
but it's split zoned. So that was the one area in town, if you
Yeah.
remember, like we had it split between the higher density and the lower density, so they had to make the site conform to that. So 19 of the units are in a lower density, more traditional townhouse style. And then I think it's 48 of the townhouses are this stacked
Yeah, you have
setup.
like
And that's new for
5 or
Toll Brothers
6
too. They've never done something like this.
Units of 2 stacked
Yeah.
right next to each other.
So, I mean,
So you have like a driveway in, and then you
Yeah.
have like another road off of it, there's a couple of roads off of it to
And, like,
get
they had to-
access to it all, yeah.
So the site kind of, I mean, everything
It
is,
all
everything
backs
is
up on,
subjective, but I would say it kind of benefits a little bit if you're gonna have a
Small
large site
street.
like that, to have the majority of it actually be the lower density, which has a higher percentage of, or no, I should say, a lower required percentage of impervious. So they have to have it under 40% impervious for the major portion of the site, so you have a lot more landscaping than you would have in a downtown location, but they
Yeah.
also have their retention pond, or basin rather, that's kind of the majority of their pervious
Landscaping.
surface.
so I'm
They
curious,
had
I
to
mean,
do something on the pavers or whatever.
They
right,
had
for the
to put
Fire department.
Oh.
Porous pavement.
okay.
So they have, I mean, it's a tight site regardless, and they have 2 emergency exits for 2 of the, I guess, side roads. And so those have to be, that's porous pavement in order to comply with the impervious lot
Okay.
coverage
So the
percentage.
fire trucks can get in.
Which is, in my opinion,
Yeah.
not really,
Well, I mean, I was just curious to see how they worked out our zoning, because you know how they
Yeah.
get, with all of their high-priced engineers and stuff, the way they can pick things apart and get everything to the limit. you
well,
know,
initially
so-
they wanted to, and this is long before the topic, but initially they're just like, oh, can we just comply with the high density? It was like, no, it doesn't work like that. They thought like, oh, well, it's split, so we could pick and choose. I mean, this is not how it works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that was,
So they had.
Nice try.
No, that's right, yeah.
2 completely separate formats, kind of.
Yeah. We'll see what I mean, there's still, I think we just got traffic review on it today.
Oh, did we get some?
From the applicant, so.
Because we expanded out to the other.
Yep.
other
And they
intersections.
responded to the board's peer reviewer, so.
Who's that now?
So the board has a peer review traffic agent, which is Bowman.
Bowman, yeah.
Yeah.
And so Bowman responded to the applicant's the applicant's traffic engineer. And now the applicant's traffic engineer responded to the board's peer review agent, as well as expanded their area, because the planning board wanted to look at a
Yeah.
wider.
Because
Yeah.
it's
area.
gonna affect the Kendall and 27 intersection, it's gonna affect Kendall and 180 intersection, it'll affect more, Diamond and 27.
Yeah, so for the next board meeting, hopefully, I mean, I just got their report today, but hopefully Bowman will have their
Yeah,
rebuttal.
but we don't have anything scheduled for.
I mean, I'm just curious, I mean,
Yeah.
the effort you put into the zoning and stuff, and you think you get it right, but then when you get these high-priced experts looking at it, they can pick it apart.
Oh, they always do. Yeah, I mean,
So I mean, it ended up, it is what we thought it would be, and.
I think it's, I mean, I try to keep, each project you kind of look at, obviously, for making sure it's done correctly, making sure it's done accurately. I think something like this, though, you don't have a 4.2 acre site in a downtown very often, so it is kind of a
Right.
unique situation. We have such a large area,
Yeah.
and the housing style,
Yeah, they took
I-
some time to get those pieces.
preferably, I like the diversity in the housing style, just because we have apartments in the downtown, we have kind of that higher density, mixed use, and so it's a different option for people. It's, it's ownership, now it's townhouse style, I don't know, I think overall, I'm like, well, I like options, I like that, that's a little bit more diverse than just a
Well-
typical apartment.
When the Western Spring Street thing first came in, they came in with that totally unusual idea.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have mixed use, but the people who live above it are going to own the commercial. They're gonna run the commercial right below them. You're gonna have the offices or something there. They said, okay, they're actually gonna use the commercial space for something, and we'll get taxes on it.
Yeah, that's
But
one where I'm
then
surprised,
they-
because I figured that project, I was, when that first came forward, I'm like, oh, they're just doing this because they really wanna do townhouses, and they have to put this commercial space because they can't do it any other way.
Yeah.
But then when they came back with the project that went forward now, then they just,
Totally overwhelmed everything,
Yeah.
yeah.
they went with just a mixed use apartment building, but who knows? any questions on this. I don't know if we wanna kinda go through any of the major portions of it. Like I said, the big thing really is the excavation or filling of earth, where, you know, try to have a little bit more, I guess, consistency with the regulations. Some of the language didn't really, you know, you have the whole residential and commercial cubic yard threshold, but some of the language that trigger the need for a special permit under residential didn't transfer properly to the other, you know. So what's, basically.
Oh, so this the inclusionary zoning, you're just making a couple corrections to the existing one. Is that what this is? There's no.
Oh, the inclusionary zoning, that I just changing it's going from five
Number,
J to
yeah.
five I, yeah.
There is severability, city parking, temporary use.
And removing the severability, because that's not something we actually need.
Overlay, okay. Buffer zones was moved. Temporary.
Also added a definition for temporary uses, because we have that there, but we don't actually define it, so. That was coming from town council.
5H, is that still there, or the medical marijuana?
5H, so didn't make any changes, so didn't need to
Okay.
include it in here. Same with 5E. 5E was a little bit complicated. That was the whole, let's go real quick. Sorry. 5E was earth removal, and this was more or less dealing with, you know, it's set up primarily for
For
Russos.
Official, actual quarrying, just what they're actually doing, but they say they aren't.
Yeah. We left this in there just cause I think I went back and forth talking to Jim and the town council, and it was one of those things where it wasn't hurting anything and I didn't wanna take
Right.
something out and make up an issue with it, so I left it for right now, cause it was just a little bit, a lot of work went into this for whatever purpose it was for, and I felt like it was just, should be kept in there.
Okay. Covered pretty much,
Yeah, I mean, this
I
is,
think.
we talked about putting the provision under, activities requiring a special permit for, excavation or filling of earth. It was, adding kind of like that stopgap. So under 5D4, we added an additional C, which is activities associated with any development regardless of incidental use or permitting approval procedure, which involve the excavation and or filling of more than 100,000 cubic yards of earth, for the entirety of the development's construction. Now I realize I'm missing an S.
Yeah.
That number was kind of back and forth. I think we talked about this last time too. That was kind of a discussion with Carl, Bylaw, before I left, trying to find a number that was realistically wouldn't trigger it for most developments, but would for large scale, you
Yeah,
know,
something
developments.
that-
It is a substantial number, but it's something that kind of fits.
But it's those exceptional numbers that you need to look at.
Yeah, you don't wanna have everybody in there, but if it's something that fits that threshold, yeah. Oh, and we added a surety to that too. So that language came from looking at other communities, cause this was the question of how do you hold an applicant accountable to actually getting the work done? Cause it's such kind of a weird area, you're going for the zoning board for a special permit, but it's not building related, it's it's earth.
It's ensuring.
So it's not something like building goes and
Put
checks
things
on
back the
it.
way they were. before.
Yeah, so
Sort of
requiring
all
a
the
surety
roads,
at
yeah.
least.
So the town, Walpole hasn't had, like a development
Yeah,
We don't take a bond for property that, any work done on the private property, correct?
other than subdivisions, and then you have some.
Well, I would say like a condo project or
Yeah.
something like that. All right, I'm taking, for instance, right up here off, is it Center Lane or whatever it is across from the Woodworkers at Pennington Place.
Yeah.
And, the way the contractor kinda left them holding, or whatever, and they had no protection, there was no bond in there or anything, so.
Yeah,
But
so.
other towns do have bonds on that, right? Is that something that we should look into, or?
Well,
We could
I
look
think in
into
most
it,
cases, there are bonds required.
Well, the threshold that I
Just
think they
like-
do is they just hold up their CO. I mean, so like if you don't complete the project, especially if it's a private project, then you're not gonna get your certificate of occupancy.
Yeah.
So they'll do like a temp CO, obviously sometimes, but I know like if the work's not completed, that's where I guess that's the teeth to hold them over, is they can't
Yeah. There's a
can't
lot
leave the
of
project until
things still
they can get
hanging
the full
out there 'cause
CO.
they haven't finished
But I
required.
know, like, a couple of the 40B projects in particular, we did include language in there for bonding. So like Summer Street had to provide bonding for like remediation, if they had to, to, I guess, remediate the site.
Cause I know that Weber place up there, that contractor defaulted and, given that, I know people that have been there for over 2 years and they don't even have landscaping.
Where is this?
And then they hired my son to go up to do some stuff and, they said, you can't do that. I said, what do you mean I can't do it? It's my land and I haven't got any grass and I'm not living like this, you know?
Yeah,
But I think where that guy got into trouble, he did a lot of pre-sales
okay.
before, COVID. And, between COVID and after,
Yeah.
material, everything skyrocketed in price.
Wow.
And he was, stuck holding the bag. And I don't think he could complete anything, cause it was costing him money to finish it off.
They had that place this is one, cause I remember they did foundations in Norwood. Do you know what I'm talking about? There was like a condo development where they did the foundations and then left it for years.
Yeah,
And when they came back, they had to rip everything out and restart, but that was the one situation where it was like, I don't know what was going on from the building side, but
the
it
one
was.
next to the Jaguar.
Yeah,
place
exactly,
down
yeah.
there.
That was a situation where I don't know, I don't know what was going on within the building department, if they were in communication with that guy, but I know from like the planning side, project was permitted, they started construction, and then I think there was nothing to hold it accountable within that decision. It was just
Right.
kinda like, well, when they came back, they had to yank out and redo the foundations, cause they'd been sitting for like
I
8
think he
years.
put those in to keep the permit valid or something.
Probably.
I don't know, you know,
They-
and, I don't know,
That was a different,
yeah,
isn't that same family that owned the building that was next to the Honeydew?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I guess that's sold.
that's in the
I
park.
think that's sold in, the house next door on the other side,
Yeah.
EC's house there.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
they're gonna knock that one down and build.
What
a,
about that
which is
building
that-
right near the rotary?
Which one?
The big building, was a kind of commercial place, you come off the rotary, head into a Shaw's.
It's like
right
ES or
on
Oh,
something.
Mason Eland, where
Yeah.
Mason Eland is.
They sold
I
off
think
some of
they're
their
trying to
land,
rezone
didn't
that
They tried to,
for residential or something. I think, weren't they trying to rezone that?
someone told me
But
they were
they
trying, they
resisted.
tried to do, I think they did an A&R there, or they were doing wanted to file for like a commercial subdivision or something like that, they wanted to subdivide the property.
My brother thought they sold off some to allow some of those other businesses to get.
Maybe,
those car
I know, well, they
dealerships
did
on
for
the road.
they had a lease with, the Kia, cause in the back, if you look at it, they have like an excess amount of parking in the Kia. Of course, every car dealership needs more storage than
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
and they actually like go into that property, but they had some agreement with them, so their fence actually extends into that
Well,
commercial.
that's Nissan, Nissan.
Is it Nissan? Okay.
Nissan's up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
The key is down across,
Okay.
next to Rojo, down, across
Oh,
from
all right.
Central.
Yes, I know it's the one
Yeah.
that go up the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have any?
I remember that. I was
big
doing
cabinets
the
in the
Nissan, I
ground?
was doing a roof inspection on the gas rooftops up there. And a
Okay.
plane came in to land on that runway and it's like the shadow. I mean, it was.
It's a little close.
Felt close. Felt
Yeah,
like-
even if you're in the Shaw's parking lot, sometimes the plane's coming down, you say, it's gonna try to land in the parking lot
Yeah,
here.
Yeah, very off topic, but yeah, I've gone to the, to my daughter to the park that you guys did there.
Oh, the little playground at
playground.
the airport?
That is like,
That's
if you
nice.
wanna bring a toddler and have them like,
Yeah.
cause it's coming and going, there's so
Yeah.
many planes, and they got a jungle gym, so.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great.
Nice little picnic. I think I might have lunch over there
Yeah.
this summer or something, you know?
That's a
Yeah.
better restaurant
Packed.
there, I tell you, right?
Yeah, no, there's a great place, I think, Tassos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tassos,
Yeah. but, is there anything else we kinda wanna talk about with this, or have we kind of?
I don't
all
think so,
good?
just mulling it over ourselves.
Yeah.
I think, and
So, like I mentioned, I wanna be able to at least provide an opportunity to invite town meeting members if they wanna show up.
Oh, yeah,
And the
yeah,
public
yeah.
at large to go over it in more detail.
Did you have any luck getting
I
space in
couldn't get the,
library?
I looked for the community room, that wasn't available. I'm probably gonna reach out to the COA, cause I know they're usually available.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I
And in
said.
some cases, they might have more parking over there too.
True.
I
March
know-
9th was the date that I worked, and it worked for everybody, but I wanted to kind of bring
Not
up.
me though.
No.
No, but
It-
that, no big
yeah.
deal. I don't come back from vacation until the 10th, the
Yeah.
next day, so.
No worries. I mean, that's the day I thought of, but
Which
I
day is
also,
that?
that's a Monday, and
Monday.
which is why I was
Yeah.
thinking about asking if anyone cared if I moved it to the 11th, only because Wednesday is usually, better than a meeting on a Monday, which I don't think.
Nobody feels like doing anything on a Monday.
No one wants to do anything on a
Yeah.
Monday, so, I may send that out to an email to the whole group. I mean, if you guys can go, cool. If you can't, it's not like one of these meetings.
Yeah.
I'm just going to try to offer
Right.
an
The
opportunity.
more people there, the more people can ask
Yeah.
questions on, yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah, so I get back to 10th. I don't know what kind of shape I'm in the 11th,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, like I said, I'll send an email out to everybody and
The
just
important
gauge their
thing is
opinions.
getting the word out early enough so people can plan on being there.
Yeah. No, that's very true.
Because they don't see it in the papers or something,
Yeah. And if something like arises in terms of like changes, I know the planning board meeting is on the 19th, and so
Yeah.
I wanna be able to account for anything that may need to change prior to.
You're talking next week?
No, so March.
March,
Yeah. Both are
I
March.
don't think we have anything.
Yeah.
for next
So,
meeting, yeah.
you have to present this to the planning board, they have to vote on it?
Yes.
On March
Right.
19th.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have this public forum before, only in
Right.
the event that if someone has questions, something shows up, and maybe there needs to be a
Yeah,
change to
maybe they
this.
come up with some kind of
I can
idea
note
that we've
that.
all overlooked or something,
Yeah. And I think the FinCom is the 26th, so you'll probably get an email about that, so FinCom's meetings, so. Hypothetically, 11th, I'll send an email out and see if that
Yeah.
works, and then, 19th with the planning board, 26th with FinCom. And then I think warrant goes to print like the second week in April, or something like that. We're talking about April, so there we go. We're almost.
Slow down.
Jeez, I know. Although I'd go for it to be warmer, or at least no snow. It's not.
No.
It's one of those things,
Yeah.
So, all right, so you said the 11th maybe,
Maybe, yeah. I'll send an
Yeah.
email out to everybody just to kind of gauge the feedback
and then
and
the 19th was,
planning board.
Have a public meeting.
We're all good there. I guess we can't take a vote, but.
Motion to adjourn.
well, I don't.
Yeah.